full grid of Pro Mazda racers getting ready to do battle here in their second to last race weekend of the 2018 Pro Mazda Championship. And just a little bit of information about the Mazda Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires for those of you that are here today getting ready to take in the IndyCar race a little bit later on this evening. The Mazda Road to Indy, a one-of-a-kind driver development championship series designed to promote drivers from the go-karting ranks all the way to the top level of American open-wheel professional racing, the Verizon IndyCar Series. It starts with the USF 2000 Championship. The driver that wins the championship there is afforded a scholarship into Pro Mazda. The category you see on pit lane here before you, the champion in Pro Mazda will race in Indy Lights next year, the top level of the Mazda Road to Indy, and the champion in Indy Lights this season will get a 3-race ride next year in the IndyCar Series, one of those races being the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500. So we're getting ready to go racing down here. Again, it's the St. Louis Pro Mazda Oval Challenge presented by Cooper Tires. It's the penultimate weekend of racing here in the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires. And folks, you're about to watch the future stars of the IndyCar Series do battle here on track in Pro Mazda and up next in Indy Lights. So get somewhere comfortable. We're getting ready to go racing here in the Mazda Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now set to go with the second rung of the Mazda Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. It's the Pro Mazda Championship, and we have 11 drivers who are ready to fire things up here today for their Mazda St. Louis Pro Mazda Oval Challenge event. Let's start with the driver starting at the tail of the field right now. Currently second in points, multi-time race winner here this year. Had some trouble in qualifying. The engine not performing to 100%. He's going to start at the very tail of the field. If all is good to go, watch for Parker Thompson in that black and red number 90 machine. The Canadian driver, incredibly impressive. He'll start in the 11th position. Watch for Thompson to work his way forward. Into the top 10 now, starting on the outside of row number 5. 55 years of age for Fat Boy Racing. And the number 83, Charles Finelli. Finelli in the 83 starting in 10th. Inside of that row in the number 8, from Moscow, Russia, now living in Los Angeles, California for Cape Motorsports, the Mazda Road to Indy veteran Nikita Listoshkin in the number 8, starting in the 9th position. Moving now to row number 4. On the outside from Payette, Idaho for Team Pelfrey, the number 82, the young American Stingray Robb, starting in 8th. Alongside him, just 16 years of age from Atlanta, Georgia, but originally from Bogota, Colombia for RP Motorsports Racing, the rookie Mateus Solar Obel in the number 27. Moving now to row number 3 on the outside from Chicago, Illinois. Won both races at Road America earlier this year for BN Racing, the rookie David Malukas, starting in the 6th position. On the inside of that row from Jupiter, Florida. Last year's USF 2000 champion for Cape Motorsports and the Mazda Soul Red machine, Oliver Askew in the number 3, starting in the 5th spot. Moving now to row number 4 on the outside from New York for Juncos Racing, a winner in USF 2000 last year, the rookie looking to get his first win here in Pro Mazda, Robert McGinnis for Juncos Racing in the number 9, starting in the 4th spot. Alongside McGinnis, a fantastic qualifying effort from Moises de Oliveira, the young Mexican driver in the number 12 for D-Force Racing. De Oliveira is going to start in the 3rd spot. We move now to the front row. On the outside, driver leading the points right now, trying to take a run at the championship and the scholarship that would put him in Indy Lights next year. Starting in 2nd, he's won the last 4 races in Pro Mazda. It's Rinus VK for Juncos Racing in the number 2, starting 2nd. For the driver on the pole position here today, what a fantastic run in qualifying. He is obviously a road course specialist from Europe, the British driver for RP Motorsports Racing, Harrison Scott, on the pole position here today in the number 10. Scott and VK on row 1, De Oliveira and McGinnis row 2, Askew and Malukas row 3, Solar Obel and Robb row 4, Listoshkin and Finelli row number 5, and Parker Thompson alone on rows number 6. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of our guests from Bommarito Auto Group down here with us here today. We are getting ready to fire up these engines. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Blake Bommarito.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Bommarito Automotive Group and the Bommarito.com, where price sells cars, welcome to Gateway Motorsports Park and the Mazda Pro Series. Gentlemen, start your Mazda engines.
And the engines fire down here on pit lane. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going racing with Pro Mazda. Let's send it back up to the booth, and I'll meet you guys there in a couple of minutes.
Well, Pat, the engines are fired up. And Rob Howden's about ready to pull a hamstring.
Yes, he is. Rob's going to be getting up here very shortly, but anyway, he's going to come up here and take my table away from me is what he's going to do. But special guest flagman, special guest of the day will be the honorary starter. You heard Blake give that command. And the honorary flagger is a guest of the Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. Brad Hockaday getting loosened up.
Offering instruction.
Yeah. I like to call him Brad Hickory Dickory Dockaday.
Right. Well, Harrison Scott on the pole position, that was a bit of a surprise to those who follow the series with regularity and a good outcome, as Rob has indicated on several occasions. And an important part of this Mazda Road to Indy series is the drivers have to get some experience on the ovals. Some haven't, but so many have come through a road racing tradition, and so this is rarefied air, particularly a racetrack of this nature. A very interesting and different racetrack.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the record is currently held by Victor Franzoni at 142 miles per hour, 31 minutes and 62.26 seconds, an average speed of 142.303 miles per hour. That was set last year right here at Gateway Motorsports Park.
Field beginning to form up right now.
I still like the one driver, the driver of the number 82, Stingray Rob.
Right, I've had him at Sonoma, and as we mentioned before, has raced the Formula Challenge cars that are housed out at Sonoma Raceway, and also has had success in the Pirelli World Challenge.
He'll
Oliver
be starting
Askew,
in the 8th position, by the way, Pat.
Oliver Askew from Melbourne, Florida, a driver who some of the money was on in terms of a pole position, so based on some practice speeds earlier. We had an interesting sort of truncated hour of activity involving both the Pro Mazdas and the Lights cars as we are springing into action.
And the green flag flies for 55 laps, courtesy of the Pro Mazda Series.
Now, I suspect
by Cooper Tires.
I suspect right now, just sort of fingers crossed and holding the breath for some, this is the first real race in anger on a racetrack like this. A little different than just the practice sessions.
Yeah, this is where it all pays off right here. Down the back straightaway for the first time, out of turn 4. And leading lap number 1, that is the number 2 car of Ryan VK.
Now, VK right now has the advantage, was able to wrest that position away from Harrison Scott, who has dropped back to the 3rd position. And, boy, that is quite an advantage right now by VK.
Rhinus VK is your race leader. Racing into 2nd position, driving the number 9 car. That is Robert McGinnis. Robert McGinnis out of New York, New York.
Yeah, officials.
They do race cars in New York.
Well, they most certainly do. Sometimes it's even not on the street. But individuals in race control keeping a real close eye on that, as we have knocked down 3 of the 55 scheduled laps. And it's a 1.5 second advantage right now for VK. And you can see he may be looking at that right now.
Good race starting to shape up now for positions 2 and 3. Currently riding in that 3rd position, that is Scott Harrison, starting on the pole position earlier out of England, driving the RP Motorsports Racing.
Isn't that Harrison Scott?
Correction, that is Harrison Scott. I'm sorry. Harrison Scott in the number 10 car.
But I tell you what, if VK can keep this up, it is going to be a long, long day for his peers, because at the moment, that lead is just getting wider. VK looks incredibly comfortable right now in that number 2 machine. Not any hesitation as he powers in in the corner, drives down close to the white line, heads off of turn number 2 and down the long straightaway here at Gateway Motorsports Park.
Very strong right here in the early going. Already stretching it out after 4 laps to 2.140 seconds. Racing in that third spot continues to be Harrison Scott in car number 10. He is 3.2 seconds behind as well of your race leader.
Well, I think the one thing here as well is this is a seat time situation for many of these drivers, and I am quite confident it was preached that we want you to find your rhythm. We want you to get safe and stable in the race car. Let's not do anything stupid in the early going. Now, that's a common thing said, but with some drivers new to this kind of environment, particularly important now. We don't see any threats for position at the moment. And the one thing we have to keep an eye on is whether VK can keep up this pace and absolutely put the hurt on the rest of the field.
Pat, right now it looks like the cars are kind of settling in.
Right.
You know, kind of settling in, just riding along a little bit. But, 55 laps here at Gateway, it's a long race for these cars.
Yeah, right now, all of them, as we keep an eye, for the most part, as they go through 1 and 2, keep it right down on the bottom by the white line. We got different banking, and they're a little bit higher as they go through 3 and 4. Although they exit number 4 right down there by the stripe. And the guy who's exiting in a hurry is VK, who continues, although that lead has been sliced some.
A little bit, you're right. Rhinus is starting to move up now. McGinnis in car number 9. He has sliced it from 2.3 seconds now down to 1.7 seconds. So Rhinus McGinnis now starting to move up on your race leader.
So that's going to be interesting, and you can see that visually. I mean, we can give you the minute by minute and then what the stopwatch says, but sometimes just with the naked eye, you can tell that someone's making some moves forward, and it's 1.48 right now second.
Yeah, definitely clicking out some very good laps is the number 9 car of Robert McGinnis. Once again, very safely down the back straightaway.
You can see where the rubber's made the main groove, and a couple of them trying to get up there a little bit higher. When you're just trying to get used to the new environment, you don't want to do a whole lot of experimentation because that can go awry in a hurry. But at some point, to try to gain some speed, it'll be interesting to see if anyone elects to try to alter their line a little bit. Now, that advantage of 1.4272 has been relatively stable. Plenty of time to go. And right now, car number 9 is beginning to put a little bit of pressure, it would seem, on your race leader. And that lead evolved in a hurry.
Pat, these are team cars, teammates, until the green flag falls.
Yeah, I know.
And then you're no longer my teammate.
No.
You are a fellow competitor.
Right. In some places there's, you got situations in a points battle where that has to be in consideration. But I know your top teams, for example, Penske Racing, they foster some internal competition. They hire top drivers, and to get the best out of each other,
that's right,
you have to put pressure on each other as a team.
Also, too, this is the stepping stone to the Indy Lights, and of course the Indy Lights are the stepping stones to the Verizon IndyCar Series. Well, the voice of the Mazda Pro Series, he's in. He's getting ready to hook up some
he's doing
internet
some work
service,
there as
some
well.
apps.
So
we'll give him a chance to catch his breath. We'll finish on, and Rob will be here in just a little bit. The real master of the Pro Mazda Series and the Indy Lights. Robert McGinnis, he has led every lap so far, but the laps are starting to get a little bit closer now.
Well, Rob's made the mad dash, and I tell you, pretty interesting. VK got out to that advantage, and suddenly we looked up, and bang.
Well, first and foremost, the golf cart died in the middle of the tunnel, so I had to run the rest of the way. I made it, though. It's a long run up these stairs, I'll tell you that. Let's look on the racetrack, guys. You guys said the potential trouble for Rinus VeeKay. I thought I saw the number 2 out on track, though. Let's have a look as they work their way out here once again. I thank Jim and Pat for giving me a hand here. They're in the middle of having their lunch. VeeKay's coming across the line. VeeKay is still out front. I think it's just a transponder issue, potentially. So again, it appeared, based on live timing, that Rinus VeeKay had fallen to the tail of the grid, but looking at onto the track, the number 2 Juncos racing machine just rockets across start-finish right now. His teammate Robert McGinnis running in that second position. Harrison Scott, your pole sitter, third. De Oliveira in fourth. Fifth is Oliver Askew. Sixth is David Malukas. Seventh, Parker Thompson. Some kind of an engine miss on the car for Parker Thompson in qualifying. Actually, in the practice session before qualifying, he knew it was happening. They couldn't get it fixed to get him out for qualifying, and it was kind of missing. So every time it would come back, it would be that big hit of horsepower. He said he almost lost it a couple times in turn 3 as he's rolling through that corner. He got the thing planted, and the engine's skipping it. Every time it comes back, that bottom end torque of these engines wanted to loop the car around. Thompson now running in the 9th spot, I believe. VeeKay back at it again. So Rinus VeeKay on our live timing. Once again leading over Robert McGinnis. Some kind of a transponder issue for Rinus VeeKay, but he is still out front as your leader. I was on the golf cart on the way here during the start, so I missed it. All I do is once we got over there, I could see that VeeKay had a pretty good start and pretty good launch early as he was able to get out into the position. Driver with the point lead right now. He's won the last 4 races in the Pro Mazda Championship, sweeping at the streets of Toronto, and then just a couple of weeks ago at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Robert McGinnis, his teammate, has not yet won in the Pro Mazda Championship. He was a winner last year in the opening round of USF 2000 at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Was with Team Pelfrey last year. Moves over with Juncos Racing and Pro Mazda, trying to cut into that gap. Well, Rinus VeeKay looking to take a pretty sizable advantage in this championship, potentially almost clinching it before we get to Portland. He had a pretty good lead on Parker Thompson coming in. Parker had a tremendous start to the season, winning at Barber Motorsports Park, winning on the streets, or rather the road course at Indianapolis. Then he won the first of the 2 oval races for Pro Mazda, winning at Lucas Oil Raceway, the Freedom 90. But then things kind of went awry, had some issues, qualified not well at Road America, but was able to finish in front of Rinus VeeKay in both races, was able to get past them in both races, which, again, pushed his lead out. But the big change came in Toronto. Contact between he and David Malukas, a little overzealous move for Malukas in turn 1, took them out. Significant damage to his exclusive auto sports car for Parker Thompson. He wasn't able to come back the next race. And while that happened, Rinus VeeKay, of course, having his best weekend of the year, sweeping it. So it was kind of a shift there at Toronto, a race that Parker's been very, very good at. Rinus VeeKay still up top. We'll watch that gap between first and second. Moises De Oliveira doing a great run here in the number 12, the blue and white car for D-Force Racing. I had spoken with Moises before the autograph session. His idea was just they're trying to get seat time here in Pro Mazda ahead of a full season next year. So they're running the final 3 races of the year. Wanted to run on the oval here. The only other time he's ever been on an oval was last year in USF 2000 at Lucas Oil Raceway. So feeling comfortable now. Just wanted to make sure he got out to a good start, got rolling, and kind of got into the groove. And he's got that going now. P4 now in the 5th spot, Oliver Askew in the number 3 for Cape Motorsports. Second rung of the Mazda Road to Indy. Again, these young drivers all battling for this championship that would give them a scholarship to run Indy Lights next year. Rinus VeeKay with the point lead and trying to win 5 straight races here to take control of this championship. And slim opportunities for Parker Thompson, not looking good. He currently runs in the 8th position. Started dead last after the issue in qualifying, was able to get up a couple of spots. Lap times, he's pretty much running the same pace as Askew, Malukas, and Solar Obel. So it's not like he's able to cut into any of the gap at this point either. He's about 1.2 seconds behind David Malukas. Last time actually had a really good lap, able to work his way forward there. So cutting into that gap between 7th and 8th, let's see if Thompson can continue to do that. Laid down a 137.3 mile per hour lap. Almost 2 miles an hour faster than Malukas. See if we get a battle here. That would be for the 7th position. Thompson definitely closer this time by. Cut that gap down to 1 second. Made up a couple of tenths of a second there. So Thompson trying to close his way forward. No quit in the young Canadian, even though his championship contender, the guy he's battling with, is out front and leading. That said, VK is going to have to start working his way through lap traffic pretty soon. He's got Nikita Listoshkin in front of him, and he's closing up pretty quickly down the back straightaway. That's Listoshkin in the white and black Cape Motorsports car, and the white and green is Rinus VK in the number 2. He'll catch him just as the way they get in there. He's going to go to the high side, coming through turn number 3 and 4. VK going to the high side of the racetrack. Good pass to make the move to the outside. VK didn't lift. Decisive in that move around the outside, knowing his teammate Robert McGinnis would have capitalized on that if he had to get out of the throttle. And that's one of the things you have to watch out for with these cars. They're very pitch sensitive, these Formula cars. When you roll into 3, if he had to jumped out of the throttle, the car's pitch would have moved forward. It would have taken a lot of the grip off the rear of the car, the weight off the rear of the car, could easily have swapped ends. So you have to be very wise in making sure you're on that throttle when you're rolling through that very quick turn 3. Parker Thompson continues to try to close up here. In fact, he's significantly closer to David Malukas, probably about 6 car lengths as they work their way into turn number 3 again. So Parker Thompson, the man on the move, he's going to try to see if he can't get by David Malukas here for 7th spot. Thompson significantly closer. 55-lap race, 29 laps still to go, only working lap 26, so not quite yet to the halfway point. Let's see if Thompson has anything for Malukas. Always tough to make a pass at a track where you're fairly close to being at the same speed as the guy in front of you, because you're going to get that aero wash when you get there. You're going to lose all that air off the front wing. The car then wants to push up the racetrack. Thompson having to get a good run off of 4. Actually, better for him would be to get a good run off of turn number 2. Get through that tighter corner quicker and be able to get that run down the back straightaway. Thompson's still about 5 or 6 car lengths behind Malukas. Closes up again, coming to turn number 3, down to about 4 car lengths as they work their way through 3 and 4. VK, McGinnis, and Scott, your top 3. As they run now, 358 points for Rinus VK, 302 points. It'd be a 56-point lead heading to Portland with a total of 66 points up for grabs for race wins and fast laps of the race and poles. Rinus would probably just have to get one good finish. In fact, he'd probably just have to start one of the races to be able to secure this championship. So Parker Thompson pretty much throwing everything he possibly could over the last couple of races, but man, it's just been such a tough go since that disastrous weekend in Toronto. Thompson again closing up on the number 79 of David Malukas. Parker Thompson second in the USF 2000 Championship in 2016, finished 3rd last year with a brand new team, Exclusive Autosport. Was able to get a couple of victories in Toronto and back it up with wins as well at Mid-Ohio. They moved up quickly. First year in the USF 2000, we came out with the brand new PM18 here in Pro Mazda, and that was just kind of the right time for Exclusive Autosport to expand. They added a couple of Pro Mazda cars, put their young USF 2000 driver in one of the cars, and proceeded to come back and win a couple of races as well. Three wins this year for Parker Thompson. So you look at his record, if he ends up finishing 2nd overall in the championship this year, which is obviously a possibility, it's either 1st or 2nd, he'll have been 2nd or 3rd in the last 3 years of Mazda Road to Indy competition. This guy's a talent for sure, and we'll be working hard to see where his next step will be as a professional race car driver. VK still turning the fastest laps, 138.642 miles per hour. It's 2.3 second advantage for VK over his teammate Robert McGinnis. Junco's Racing doing well here this weekend. They won last year with Victor Franzoni. Trying to do it again. Won that championship. You go back a couple more years, too. They won the championship with Spencer Piggott, which put him in their Indy Lights car for the first time. He went out and won the Indy Lights championship. A year later, he was in the Indianapolis 500 with Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan Racing. That's how close it is for these young drivers with the scholarships that we get from Mazda, Anderson, and IndyCar. Pro Mazda 1 year, 2 years later, you're on the grid at the 500. That's the opportunity that this road to Indy has provided for so many of these young pilots. I feel pretty much spread out now. We're just watching that battle, a continuing battle with Parker Thompson and David Malukas. He's trying to find a way by Malukas, trying to get the best run he can. But again, likely losing a bit of that front downforce as they work their way to both of these corners. You can see he's still about 6 car lengths behind. Looks to me like they're closing on Mateus Solar Obel, though. Indeed, they're quite a bit quicker. That's going to be a battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th before this is all done. Renus VK, though, has just been absolutely flawless over the last 3 weekends. Settling in with the team, settling in with the momentum and confidence that he's got after the wins and just some really, really strong finishes. You got to remember, he's a rookie in this series as well. Like so many of them, just a first year in the program, you could easily have thought he would come in and, oh, hell, here we got to move here. Potentially Parker Thompson right now on the rear wing. Oh, he's going to go to the outside. No, Parker to the inside. Thompson to the inside at turn number 1. Book it. He's through. What a pass to the inside. Here comes Malukas to going to try him back, but I think Thompson's significantly quicker. If he gets through 3 and 4 here, indeed, already gaps him by a length into the corner. Thompson's going to go to work trying to reel in Mateus Solar Obel as well. As I had said in the intro, he'd be the guy to watch. The black and white and silver exclusive Autosports PM18. Parker Thompson now up to the 7th spot. Parker quickly dispatching Malukas and reeling in Mateus Solar Obel. What a great run for Parker Thompson. And he told me he was so disappointed because he thought if they were able to get that car fixed, the engine skip that he had, the miss that he had in practice this morning, he thought if that would have been fixed, he would have been able to go for the pole position. He was that happy with the race car. He's now closing up on Mateus Solar Obel. Still 18 laps remaining in this one. Let's look at the lap times and speed as well between Oliver Askew and Thompson. A full mile an hour quicker. Robert McGinnis resets the fast lap of the race now, though. He is trying to close up on his teammate. 3 seconds the gap at this point, though. Renus VK has done such a marvelous job here at Gateway Motorsports Park. He has things handled. Driver to watch, though, most definitely, Parker Thompson. Here we go again. He's going to make a move up on Solar Obel coming into turn number 1. Thompson's going to go to the bottom of the racetrack. Solar Obel up into row number 2, side by side, coming through 2. Out of 2, they're side by side again. Thompson on the bottom. Solar Obel to the top. They'll drag race all the way down. A better run from the outside for Solar Obel, but Thompson right there. This has allowed Malukas to close back in as well. Thompson went to the bottom of the racetrack. Solar Obel did not give it up, running the second groove. Well, you wanted to know whether there was a second groove or not. 16-year-old Mateus Solar Obel just told us there is. He held and kept Thompson pinched to the bottom of the track. And again, Thompson trying to reset, see if he can't work his way back up and do it again. He got a great run out of 4 last time. That gave him the run to the inside. Great fight to watch for here. That's for the 6th position. Parker Thompson trying to get by Mateus Solar Obel, but out front, Renus VK's got things handled. Thompson again to within about 4 car lengths. Does he try it again to the bottom? Not close enough. about 4 car lengths as they come out of turn number 2. They've got Nikita Listoshkin, lap car in front of them and not that far in front. That's going to be an issue for sure. Let's see where Listoshkin goes, because these guys are racing for position for 6th and 7th. Malukas not that far back in 8th. Thompson close enough again to within about a length. Has a look to the inside, but thinks better of it. Tucks back up, right off the rear wing, but you can see how much of a gap Solar Obel was able to get as the car of Thompson losing that front wing. Solar Obel's going to get checked up by Listoshkin, I think, coming into turn number 3. Watch Thompson get a run on him here. This is going to be big. Thompson, a full run on Solar Obel, who has to get out of it a little bit. Watch for them to be too wide coming down the straightaway. Not quite yet. Solar Obel's going to look to the inside. He'll try the inside of Listoshkin. Thompson's going to try to go through as well. Listoshkin to the top side. He gets off the throttle and lets everybody through. Excellent job for Nikita to move the 8 to the top side of the racetrack. Solar Obel, very impressive in working his way by. Thompson again getting a great run out of turn number 3. Again, that's the key for Thompson, pushing as hard as he can to try to see if he can get Solar Obel to make one little mistake. Let the car push up the racetrack a bit. Rinus VK across the line. He's working his way up in the back of these guys. They're still just... VK's just coming onto the back straightaway now, and they're not even into turn 3 yet. Rinus VK is rolling here today. His fast lap, 138 miles per hour. Thompson did a couple of 36s, I think. Maybe a 37. Thompson continues to try to work his way forward. 11 laps remain. VK with a pretty solid lead, 4.6 seconds ahead of his teammate. Here comes Thompson again. Big run for Thompson out of turn number 2. He'll tuck to the inside of Solar Obel. He's going to make this pass before they get to turn number 3. Solar Obel on the top side. Thompson on the bottom. Thompson's through. Book it again. Parker Thompson goes to P6. A strong run out of turn number 2. Thompson now to 6th. Solar Obel's now going to worry about David Malukas. Malukas now in the 8th spot. He'll try Solar Obel. Thompson able to stretch away. He's definitely been the driver to watch here. Nine laps remaining, though, for Rinus VK to make it 5 for 5 in the last 3 events here of the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires. And he would take an all but insurmountable lead in the point championship as they stand now with that pass for Thompson. 54 points, I believe. That could change as McGinnis got the fast lap. If there's a point bonus for fast lap. Being an oval, 45 points up for grabs for the race win. So indeed, with Thompson in that position, 54 points would be the advantage. Even if Thompson goes in and sweeps it and gets 66 points, Rinus VK would only need 13 points on the weekend to win that championship. VK now closing up on Nikita Listoshkin, trying to put him down another lap. Indeed he does. He'll go to the outside at turn number 2. VK gets it handled. Look at Parker Thompson. No, he is absolutely bolted away from Mateus Solar Obel. 7 laps to go. Rinus VK has absolutely dominated here this weekend. Looked to me like Oliver Askew may have a car that was going to be able to challenge. And, of course, Harrison Scott, very impressive in 2-lap qualifying, single-car qualifying, got the job done, put it on the pole, his first career oval pole. But when the race came, Rinus VK did what he's done in the practice session yesterday and the short 15-minute session this morning, and that was just be the fastest guy, turning the fastest laps and backing him up and backing him up. Not just a one-off. He had that pace. 5.3 seconds the lead for Rinus VK. Second last year in the USF 2000 championship points. Funny, Parker Thompson starting to put some moves here on the speed chart up to, in fact, he just set fast lap of the race. Parker Thompson just set fast lap of the race, 140.145 miles per hour. What could have been for the young Canadian? They have a hot rod here now. He's the fastest driver on the racetrack. He'll take a bonus point for that. If Indy, it is the fastest lap. Laps winding down, though, for Rinus VK. 4 to go for the young Dutch driver, who, as I said, will take an almost insurmountable lead. He'll be able to go to Portland and put a decent race in the first event of the doubleheader and find himself as the Pro Mazda champion for 2018. Thompson definitely trying to put the exclamation point on it. Cross the line again. 140 was his fast lap. He just did 139.075 miles per hour. He's definitely closing up on Oliver Askew. 2 mile an hour quicker. Give him a couple more laps and he may be there. And that would be for P5. But as it stands, Rinus VK he's going to work by David Malukas. Rinus VK could get off the throttle here. He's going to try the inside of Malukas in turn number 3. That's a pretty aggressive move with a 5-second lead and 3 laps to go. That's how you get yourself in trouble. One little mistake, a guy around you, you're in the wall. He's going to try to go by Mateus Soler-Obel now. Wow, that's those are risky moves for a guy trying to win a championship. One little mistake there, and again, you think about the fact, what if it was a wreck and he potentially injured himself in any way? We're racing next weekend. We're on track on Friday at Portland International Raceway. I think Rinus VK dodged a couple of bullets there. White flag will fly here.
I assume that'll be a talking point in the post-race.
You think? Yeah, I would agree. That was an aggressive move, Pat, over the last couple laps, trying to get by those 2-lap cars when he probably could have just hung out and had a 5-second lead. At least pass him on the straightaway. White flag flying, though. This will be it. We'll have one of our guests from the Bommarito Automotive Group, I believe. Or no, one of our guests from the Mazda Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires, up on the tower to throw that checkered flag. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 5 straight victories for the Dutch phenom. The winner today at Gateway Motorsports Park, Rinus VK. VK with the win. McGinnis in second. Robert McGinnis, his teammate, makes it a Uncos 1-2. Harrison Scott looking to cruise through here to finish in the 3rd position. Indeed, Scott 3rd. Moises de Oliveira not that far back, though. In the 4th spot, they were 1.4 seconds a lap ago. 0.6 of a second as Scott was being very gingered trying to get around one of the slower cars. So Scott 3rd, de Oliveira 4th. Oliver Askew rounds out the top 5. Parker Thompson resets fast lap of the race on the final circuit. Lap number 55, he'll take that bonus point. But again, I don't think it's going to be enough, as Rinus VK has come on so strong in the second half of the season. 5 straight victories for VK. He'll go to Portland with an insurmountable lead, and man, the consistency we saw to this young Dutch driver last year in USF 2000 has just continued here in his rookie season of Pro Mazda racing. We've got our podium right down there on pit lane. He'll bring his car in. Rinus VK, of course, the team will come to meet him soon. The rest of the field heading down to their pits. Tremendous race for Rinus VK. The number 9 of Robert McGinnis will bring his car in there as well, and I expect they'll bring Harrison Scott in as well in the RP Motorsports number 10 machine. Started on pole, finished 3rd place today here at Gateway Motorsports Park. Once again, Rinus VK just can do no wrong here in the second half of the season. Dominated Toronto, dominated Mid-Ohio, and gets the job done here this weekend. I think most definitely the star of the race, Parker Thompson, coming from the back and making some incredible passes to work his way up into 6th position in essentially what was a do-or-die situation. But up front, driver up there to take the win, his 5th in a row in the championship lead. He's out of the car, almost falls off the front of the cowl. I'll tell you, probably a little dizzy rolling around this track here at Gateway, but nonetheless, fantastic run. Rinus VK, the winner today, and we'll send it down to pit lane and Tony Laporta.
The St. Louis Pro Mazda Oval Challenge, presented by Cooper Tires, belongs to Rinus VK. You made it look easy out there, Rinus, was it?
It wasn't. It's always tricky on an oval. The car changed a lot. It's incredible warm. So yeah, it's just for me with Parker having to quit qualifying, just about finishing the race, and well, in turn 1 I saw a moment where I could take the lead. So yeah, I did it.